Hi guys, this is Kez coming back to you with another wig video. So I've got some more wigs to show you today from my latest purchases. All of these wigs are from Shein. I've had a little bit of a spree. They had a sale recently, so it gave me an opportunity to buy some wigs that usually I wouldn't buy, just to try out some new styles to see what I think to them and whether or not they'll suit me. They are very, very different to some of the ones that I've shown you before, so I'm interested to see what you guys think. So on goes the wig cap, and let's get started. This is the first wig that I got. This is a lace front one. I have trimmed the lace on it already. It's what they call like I think it's a T-part, as in the lace goes along the parting and just goes to the sides as well. This one came with a free wig cap. Some of them do and some of them don't, but to be honest, I've got lots and lots of wig caps, so it's not really an issue. The colour itself, it's got sort of a darkened brown root, and then it sort of goes into highlights of blonde as well. So it's a mixture of mainly brown but with some blonde flashes through it. It's very easy to put on. I would say that if you have a large head, this one you'd probably struggle with, because it is quite a small cap, which is good if you don't have a big head, but obviously if you did, you might find it a bit of a problem. So that's the style. It's kind of like a bob shape. As you can see from there, it sort of comes down, which is really pretty. The way it sits on me, it sort of looks longer on one side than the other, and I do believe that you can sort of adjust the part a little by moving where the wig sits on you, so that you can decide whether you wanted a side part or a middle part. This bit is a little bit floppy at the front, so if it was going to get on your nerves, you might want to tuck that little bit back behind your ears just so that it sits nicer, or even grip it, it wouldn't really matter. But the overall style is good. The quality is really nice. It doesn't tangle at all, and it seems to stay put quite well as well. It might actually be a hair cube one. So the inside is a standard sort of wig lace. I do like the fact that on this one, rather than just having the ventilated cap, you have got a lace all over it as well, which means it's a slightly better quality. It has got combs around it as well, so you've got the grips on both sides. And you've also got a grip on the back as well. You could also, if you wanted to, put a grip on the top part, but it doesn't actually come with one. There's actually 50% off this wig at the moment, and that brings it down to £12.75 instead of £25. I do it in another shade as well, which is very similar but is more blonde than brown. So if you prefer your wigs to be blonde, you could get that one as an alternative instead. This was the next one that I got. Again, this is synthetic, and this one is by another company that's quite popular on Shein. I think it's 7JHH Wigs. You can recognise them because they always have this little logo on the back of the wigs, which always looks to me like a weird pumpkin, but I think is supposed to actually be a princess or something to that like, I don't know. But anyway, I've had a wig off them like this before, but the other one had sort of brownie roots and went into ginger, and it was really, really nice. So when I saw that they'd done it in blue and black as well, I couldn't resist getting the other style. Now these aren't lace fronts, so there's no lace on them at all. However, because of the way the parting is on them, it doesn't really matter. So you don't need to worry too much about the fact it doesn't have a lace parting. They do wear very natural, and they're very pretty wigs. I will adjust the parting on this because the parts are always very close together, which is not normal for normal hair. So it doesn't look to me like simulated hair growth. So what I would do is I will pick that parting a little bit wider, move it back slightly, and then I'll colour it into a skin colour so that it looks more natural. And then I think the overall appearance of the wig will look better. There is a slight bit of shedding on it. It's not anything major, but just be aware that because it is classed as a cosplay wig, it is a little bit cheaper. You do have that slight shedding, but once that's out initially, I don't think it's going to keep shedding. Like, I've run my fingers through it quite a few times now, and I don't lose hair on it every time, so I think it's just when you brush it out to start with. But you can see that the style's really pretty, and the blue sort of parts that are in it are really, really nice where it sits, and I think that's quite a funky style. Once the parting's adjusted on that, I think it'd be really nice to be able to wear out. and I think you could get away with people thinking it's probably your hair. They don't come with any combs or anything on the inside. However, that's easily fixed because you can buy combs on Amazon in packs and just add your own combs. It should have been £11.79, but it was down to £5.79, I think, or something like that. Around about £5, might have been £5.25, which, to be honest, for a wig is really good value. Even if you just wanted it for a party or, you know, for something else like that. This is a lace front one. On the image, this one sort of had very light gingery shades. When it came, it does have some light gingery shades, but it's a little bit darker than it was in the picture. Not that that really matters, but just for sort of shade comparison, just bear in mind that when you are buying them, sometimes they're not quite what you expect them to be, and that if you don't like your wigs tangling, it does kind of knot a little bit. This one again is the T-part lace. Again, this is quite a small fit, so if you had a big head, I think you'd probably struggle with this. They're a little bit tighter, I think, because of the way I've got my hair up as well at the back, because it's plaited, and I do have quite a lot of hair that I need to get into those plaits. But even so, and straight out of the bag as well, this didn't look particularly nice. It takes a little bit of work. I mean, it's fine now, but I had to really brush it out and use my fingers to separate the textures on it to get it to look better when it first came out of the bag, because it did just sort of look clumpy and not particularly nice. But sometimes that's just because of how they are when they travel, and they do put an awful lot of stuff in them to get them to stay nice in the bags, you know, like silicons and things. And so sometimes you do need to just play with them a little bit. But you can see the overall shape of it's really nice, and I do like the sort of gentle waves that are in it as well. It is slightly tangly, so I would, as I say, bear that in mind. Nothing that can't be fixed. You could just put like a little spray through it and that would sort it out. But by the end of the day, you probably would find it would tangle quite a bit, I would say. You could also use thinning scissors just to thin it out a little so it's not as bad. These bits here at the front, I have actually trimmed, because these blonde bits, they went all the way down. But I think that they look more like statement pieces if they just blend in. So I took the ends off and I've let them just blend into the front part there, just to give it more of that sort of money piece look rather than it just going all the way through the wig. But again, that's personal preference. That's not something you have to do. I do like the fact that it's quite dark and then it fades into the other shades as well. It looks quite natural, like it's supposed to look like that. You do get the combs in this one as well, so you've got a comb on the left and the right and one on the back. And again, it's a nice lace. It goes with the proper cap inside. It hasn't got just the ventilation one inside, so it is slightly better quality. It should have been £20.25, but again, it was in the sale and I got it for £9.27. So you're talking about a full T-part lace wig for less than £10, which, if you wear wigs for fashion or you wear wigs for hair loss and you need something cheap and can't afford a lot, I'd say they're definitely the way to go. I will point out that the majority of wigs I've wore, people haven't noticed were wigs or even thought were wigs. So I wear them to work sometimes, I wear them out and about, often get compliments on my hair, and when I point out that it's a wig, it doesn't matter to me personally that I'm wearing a wig. I do get a lot of people shocked that it is a wig. And that's a good thing if you are self-conscious about wearing them, because you don't have to feel that anxiety that people will spot that you're wearing a wig. This one was a bit of a gamble. I wasn't sure whether I'd like it or not. I do like sometimes shorter pixie styles, but pixie styles only really work for me if they're generally in synthetic hair, because when I had my hair cut short, I hated it because it was too much effort to be trying to get it into a style all the time. So human hair needs work, whereas you don't really get that with these. What I did notice about this is there's a lot of what they call permatease at the top, so it looks almost wiry and bristly, like a cosplay wig. That's to get it to stay in shape, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter. And it's got this nice sort of burgundy shade to it, and then it fades into pink, so it's quite nice. And it was cheap, which is always a bonus. No combs on this one, again, because it's cosplay. But it's quite cute just to throw on, I think, if you wanted to just change your hair colour and have a shorter style for a day. It's fairly, I wouldn't say it's a huge cap, but it's probably an average cap, so it's easy to fit on as well. And I do like the fact that it's got the bits down the side. Also, because of that permatease, you can actually move it a little and it gives some texture. So if you wanted to sort of pull it forward, you can do. You can actually move it around and make shapes. And it is heat resistant as well. They all are, the ones that I buy. So on very low heat you could style it. I personally wouldn't probably go above 150, probably even less. But again, the ability to sort of play with it is there. I did get another one like this in purple, but I absolutely hated it. It just looked like I got a mushroom on my head. So that one also went back. This one nearly went back, but I have kept it because I really do like the colours. It is the 7JHH wig again, and this time it's in red and black. But the thing I'm not so keen on this is it seems to have more hair around the front, and it does tend to fall into my face quite a lot, which I find quite irritating. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't know whether to just sort of pin it back, but I don't think they necessarily look right if they're pinned back, or whether I can adjust the front and perhaps cut some of it off so it doesn't sit quite as close to my eyes, because as much as I love the wig, I don't like it falling in my eyes all the time. Like the second I look down, it's in my face, and the other one doesn't do that as much. It might be that I could probably get a little bit of hairspray and just try and spray it back. And even if perhaps I took off a little bit, say if I perhaps removed this bit, it wouldn't fall in my face as much. So I'm thinking that what I might have to do is take this red back quite a bit and get rid of some of it, just so that it's still there, but it's not in my face all the time. Because as you can see, whether it's because I've got a small head, I don't know, but it's literally in my eyes. I mean, there is potential if you wanted to wear it up. You could probably perhaps pin it back even in some sort of plait style or something like that. So for that reason I have kept it, but I do feel like if I wore it all the time it would really get on my nerves. And this was the same price as the other one. Going back to the pink one, that was only £3.25. So again, for a fashion wig, that's really cheap. The more I wear this one, the more I like it. So I really do love the colour. It's just this bit getting in my eyes. I tried sort of tucking it behind my ears, but it does look quite false at the root if you do that. So I think by cutting the cap, I'm going to be able to fix that. It might be that if I cut the plastic out of the cap at the front, because I usually cut the plastic there at the front of the cap, it might be that it relaxes it, and then I can get the straighteners and melt the plastic slightly more to the side. So that's something else I can try. But I did think that the wig was worth the effort because I like it. This is an accumulation of quite a few orders, so I didn't just go mental and buy a huge amount all at once. But I do love to review them. If I don't get on with them after a while, then I do sell them on. So my flow of wigs is constantly changing. Now this one I bought because it interested me, because it reminds me very much of an expensive style that I've got. I've got one from Switch Up Style, which is this exact style, and to buy the Switch Up Style wigs, usually about £70. I got mine off someone else, so I think I only paid about 30 for it. But I was thinking to myself, and I'm going to do a whole dupe video to show you wigs that are very similar to expensive brands, just to show that if you wanted to look nice but you don't have the same amount of money to spend, that it can still be done. But that will be in a whole other video. But in terms of style, and I just wanted to compare this one quickly. I mean, it's a lovely cap. It's got like a really nice cap on. It is lace front. I did notice that in person it looks slightly more yellow than it does in photos. It photographs more of a white, but it does have more of a yellow shade, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but again, you just have to be aware that you don't always get what you think you're getting, so to be cautious of that. The one that I have got from Switch Up Style is actually sort of a white blonde rather than a yellow blonde, but even so, I wouldn't say this is a bad shade. This is on the border where I could get away with it. I think if it had been any more yellow, it probably wouldn't have suited me at all. But style wise, it is very similar. The cap's reasonably small on it, but I think it will probably fit a medium as well. If you had a large head, you'd probably struggle. But with that lace, it is really natural looking, and you can see that it actually looks quite nice. I think because it does have that combination of dark in it as well with the roots, and it's sort of a drag root, so it goes all the way through. I think that makes it look more natural and easier to wear. There isn't any shedding on it. It's a really nice quality one. And as I say, to get the same sort of look but not spend £70 makes a huge difference. This is a hair cube wig as well, which is why it's such nice quality. And I got it for under £10 in the sale. So again, if you wanted to just look blonde and you didn't want to mess around with the bleach, it's very easy to do it in such a cheap way. You can sort of see the lace here a little bit. You could blend that in if you wanted. I might just cut it slightly because I have a little bit of a widow's peak, and because of that, because I have sort of that little like shape in my head here, sometimes they don't look quite as good. The other thing you could do is you could just slide it back a little, and you could blend it in with your natural hairline a little, and you probably wouldn't see it either. So there are things you can do about that, and it's not the worst one on the planet. So there's a lot of things you can do with the lace. You can colour it and you can pick it. There's lots of tricks if you want to make it look more natural. But as a whole, I really like this wig. I think it's really pretty, especially for the price. And it also has the combs in it as well. I hope you kind of like the idea of doing a dupe video, because there are a lot of expensive wigs out of there that are really nice that you can't afford to wear. The brands that are expensive that I like, and this isn't a judgment on the quality of the products because they are worth the money, but not everyone can afford the money. The Switch Up Star range are really nice. You've got your Carl Bembridge ones, which are really nice, also expensive. They're your sort of very high-end synthetic wigs, so you're probably looking at paying £70–80 per wig. On top of that, you've also got your monofilament wigs, which cost a lot more, and they're sort of your Jean Reno, your Rene of Paris, Ellen Will, things like that, but they cost a lot more. You're talking sometimes £200 or £300 for those sort of wigs. Many more I could name, and I think again that might be a good idea to do a wig video to name all the different types of wigs and where you can buy them, because if you're a first time and you don't know where to look or what sort of thing you're looking for, then it can be very daunting, and I think having that information out there is really helpful for people. So, but those sort of brands, if you can get that sort of look, Lulabelle's is another one. They have beautiful synthetic wigs. The colours are stunning, but again, you're paying sort of £60–70 for them if you're buying them brand new. And again, as I say, this is not me slating the brands at all. The quality is definitely worth it, but I am aware not everyone can afford that kind of money. And so to be able to find a similar look a little bit cheaper could help someone out that really is feeling self-conscious or not very confident in the self. And that's kind of part of what I like to try and do. I like to inspire positivity in people so that they feel good in what they're wearing. Because the one thing I noticed wearing wigs, even though I don't wear it for hair loss, is it makes me feel confident and happy when I'm walking around and I look good. Then you feel good, and it just gives you back that sense of self, that you can feel confident in who you are. And I know you don't always need wigs to do that, but if you have gone through something traumatic, then sometimes that does help. Okay, we've got some things slightly different here. Now I need to get another one of these because I didn't realise when I got it that you only get one in the pack. But these are bubble braids. They come on a little elastic band. When I put one of my longer wigs on, this is when I'll show it to you so that you can see what it really looks like. But basically a bubble braid is a pigtail or a ponytail that's kind of been squidged into bubble shapes, and this is a combination of bubble braid and mini plaits. They're ideal for festivals and things like that, and they're so easy to put in. You just literally clip it in and you can have it in the ponytail, or you can have one either side, which is why I want to get another. They're really cheap to get and they're really fun to wear as well. So I'm going to put it aside for now, but I will show it you. This is another one that is, to me, a dupe of another one that I've got that's more expensive, but again I will show you that in another video. I saw this on there on the website and it's really pretty. It's basically like a white blonde, and it's also got slightly darkened roots. It's got gentle waves, beautiful wig, not too tangly, a little bit, but then again that's because of the waves. It is lace front, again it's T-part, but it's got the better cap. And this one also has the combs either side. No comb in the back on this one, but again, it could be added if you wanted to. But it was styled in the photographs that were taken of it, and it sort of was up in a slight updo. So I thought the good thing about this wig is it has potential to do different styles, but mainly it was the colour that drew me to it. So you can literally throw it on and suddenly you look like a blonde. So it's gorgeous. It's a really, really beautiful wig. Probably one of the favourite ones that I've bought from there. And what the model had on her wig was she had these bits here, and she'd got them up like that, and it was tied into like a little ponytail. And you can see that if you do part it right, you can actually wear this one up if you wanted as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, really nice. So I'm going to show you this bubble braid now. You would put it in a ponytail like that, and then you could have these either side of the wig, sort of give you the bubble braids that go with it. It's obviously better done with a coloured wig, but just to give you an idea of how it works. The bubble braid was round about £3, and this one I believe was about 15, which again for a lace front wig is really, really cheap. Now I'm going to show you the ones that are slightly different. This was the first one that I got. This is a braided wig, so it already comes pre-braided. It's sort of in like cornrow braids, so it's got 4 on both sides. It comes built in with baby hair, so if you don't cut it off on the lace, it's already there. Now, it's not a full lace cap, but all the gaps are lace so that it looks quite natural on your head. This one also has all the combs in it, and it's got more grips on this one because to keep the style in place, you've got 4 grips around the side and also one at the back to keep it really, really secure. Now you have to make sure your hair's up properly, because when you're wearing this, you're going to look like all your hair's within here, so you can't really have space for hair hanging down at the back. So that's the wig. Weirdly enough, I really like it. I went for sort of a brownie shade just because it's quite close to my natural hair colour, even though it's got a bit more blonde in it than my natural hair. I kind of liked that, and I do like all these baby hairs. That's why I didn't cut them off. You could have done, but I kept them in. And if you sit it further back as well, and you've got your natural hair there, you can actually blend your own hairs in with it as well, which is quite good. Just be careful not to pull them out the front when you're tugging the wig forward, because it's easily done. And you can either wear the plaits there or you can wear them behind you, doesn't really matter. I like the fact that they go up, because I think that if I do any sort of alien-y type makeup looks, this would look really good. Although you could just wear it as an everyday look as well. And it goes all the way to the ends in the little plaits, which I really like. So yeah, this isn't something that probably I would usually wear, but I really like it. I did have one a little bit like this before with just 2 plaits, and I cut it too short at the front. It ruined all the baby hairs, and then I ended up just taking it out of the plaits and it just ruined it. But this time I was more cautious. I learnt from my mistakes and managed to keep all the little hairs in, because they really do make a difference when you've got an updo, is to have that little hair around the front to frame it a little. It gives it a more natural look. This is another style that usually I wouldn't try. Again, it's another updo. I'm not very good at doing my own hair in updo, so having the chance to do it with wigs really makes a huge difference to me being able to try new styles. This one was surprisingly good because this is a full lace wig, so the whole inside is lace. It comes with a big thick support band. It's lace all around the back. It's got baby hairs built into it. The knots are very secure on it. It's sectioned nicely. It is more of a style, probably more aimed at darker skin tones for this kind of hair, just because it's that kind of texture. But to be honest, I really like how it looks on me, and I think it's nice to try new things. So I'm going to pop it on and show you what it looks like. So the band at the back is the easiest way to fit this wig on. You just sort of pop the band on first, and then the rest of the wig follows. You do have to pull it into shape. It has got the combs on it as well, so it sits nice. I will say though that this is quite a small wig. And I think the reason for that is so that it sits tight against the head, because you want it to look like your own hair and you need it to cover all of your hair. So once, if I was wearing this properly, I would probably glue it down, and I also would make sure that all of my own hair is covered. Just because I'm showing it for you now, I'm just leaving my bits out because I don't think it makes too much difference, because I'm just showing you what the wig looks like. You can see all the baby hairs at the front here. You can see how invisible that lace is as well, so it's really nice quality. You could colour the part if you wanted to. I was speaking to my boss, and she's from Ghana, and she was saying that the lace is actually quite light for darker skin tones. But as I was saying to her, you can get sort of lace sprays that change the colour. If you thought it was too dark for your skin tone, again, you can bleach the inside of the lace to make it look even more transparent if you wanted to. But if I was actually wearing it, then I would pull this bit down here and I would actually glue that down so that you wouldn't see any of my own hair at all underneath it. But I thought that was really cool. I kind of like it on me. I know it's different and I know it's not what you would classically wear, but I just think it's nice to try new styles and do something slightly different. But yeah, I was really impressed with that, especially since it was down to just over £25 instead of 50. So I don't think you could go wrong for that price. Bear in mind that some of these wigs though on Shein, and if you need to read in the description, are non-returnable. I believe this one might be a non-returnable one. Wasn't planning on returning it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But just be aware of that if you are buying some of these more expensive wigs, some of them are non-returnable. Obviously you could sell them on, but I sort of buy them knowing that they're not returnable. And this is the other one, which is also non-returnable. This is definitely more of a dreadlock style wig, but again, it is full lace. And the thing that interested me on the website is it shows it's sort of been put up into different styles. So because of the way it is quite flexible. You could like pile it on your head in a knot, or you could sort of put it up in mini pigtails. There's a lot of things you could do with the wig. It is full lace again, so it goes all the way around and it has the band. And apparently if you wanted it shorter, these dreadlocks can be cut and they don't unravel, which I don't quite know how they've done that, to be honest, because I would have thought that if you cut them you'd have to reseal them with a little bit of sort of wax or glue or something like that, and then use hair straighteners to melt it together, but apparently not. Although I'm not planning on trying to cut mine, so hopefully that's not an issue. This one has got a slightly bigger cap, so this will be better for somebody with a larger head as well. I mean, it is quite tight, so it doesn't matter if you've got a small head. So you can see it's got all the little baby hairs there. I love different styles. I like to wear things that are slightly different. I love dreadlock hair as well. I've got a real thing for it. If I could do my own hair in dreadlocks, I probably would. Now, when I did this before and I tried it on, I actually put the sides up like that into pigtails, and it actually looked quite nice. But I like the fact that you can also sort of pile it up if you wanted to. And you could probably grip it up. You'd adjust it a little bit, obviously, and move it around so that it looked nice and not just... But I would say that the lace here is, again, very light. So what you would probably do is darken that lace, because even on my skin tone, that's quite noticeable. Not so much when it's down, but to blend it more, you'd probably want to put foundation on it or something so it's closer to your skin tone. But yeah, this one isn't returnable. So it's a good thing that I didn't want to return it. I just think it's nice to have the option to try hair that you normally wouldn't be able to. Because my hair is so straight, things like that, it's not as easy to do on my own hair. Whereas when you've got a wig, you can try it and there's no consequence. If it looks ridiculous, you just take it off again. I also bought these. I haven't tried them yet because I have no clue how to put them in yet. I need to learn. But basically they're extensions that can go into your normal hair or wigs. They come with this neat little tool thing here, which looks a bit like a crocheting hook. I thought it was broken because it sort of closed, but apparently that's normal. It's so that you can form a hook or a little eye. And you get these little thingies, they're like extension rings. And it's basically like ring extensions. So these are the extensions that you get. I've gone for the slightly muted colours because they look more natural than really bright shiny ones. And these ones have got a little bit of a crimp to them. As you can see, they've got like that crimpy patterning with black in it as well. But the idea is that you get one of these and the ring, and you can attach it into your wig or your hair with the micro ring, and you almost sort of knot it into your hair, but it is temporary, so then you just undo it to take it out again. So it's something that you can wear as a fun extension, and it doesn't have to be permanent. But I haven't actually got the hang of doing them yet and knotting them in, so I'm going to have to watch a few YouTube tutorials, and then when I get the hang of it I'll do a video and show you what it looks like. This is another one of the 7JH extension wigs. I'm in two minds whether to keep this one or sell it on. It does have a lace front which I've cut, but it's kind of like it's not a full lace, it's the bit where you just get a little bit of lace at the front and then the rest of it's proper cap. I like the colours of the wig, but I do find that the whole thing just looks very artificial. It'd be good if you wanted to do like a mermaid look, or perhaps a unicorn makeup look or something like that. But it does shed quite a lot. Quite a lot of hair comes out of it. But what bugs me most about it is that they've taken the colours right to the scalp, and that wouldn't happen on normal hair. You'd have that little bit of a colour separation from your roots, and that makes it look really, really unnatural. So what I think I might do with mine, just to make it look better, is I'm thinking I'm going to widen the part and then put an artificial root in it to make it look slightly browner at the root, so that it looks like there is actually a dye job done on there, as opposed to it just being these shades, because no one's hair is naturally this colour. And I think sometimes they don't take that into account when they're making the wigs, which is a shame, because it's a nice wig. And that's why I haven't actually gotten rid of it yet, because I'm still debating what to do, because I love the colour mix. I think the combination of the three colours, the purple, the pink and the blue, is beautiful. And I do think that, as I say, in terms of using it for a makeup look for a mermaid or something like that, is definitely a good idea. So I've kept it for now. And this is the last wig that I've got to show you. Again, this is one of the Shein ones. This is from a previous order. All of the ones I've shown you today have been from Shein. This one I love. It's got sort of a really, really dark root. It's got strange texture. It's almost like a yaki texture to it. So it's coarse, but I kind of like it. It's like a really nice texture. It makes the wig sit nicer. And I love the fact that it's got this combination of sort of parity colours. So you've got the red in there, and then it fades to yellow as well, which is really cool. And it goes all around the back. I don't know if you can see that, but it shows it all around the back too, which is really nice. I like the fact it's short around the back as well, because it's easier to wear. Now, you could cut a full fringe into this, and I did debate doing it, but to be honest, sometimes when you're cutting fringes, they then just look really chunky and not very nice. So I think, personally, I'm just going to leave the fringe and just sweep it to one side, as I've got now. I think this was around about £10-ish. Can't remember the exact price, but I really love it. That's all the wigs for now. There will be some more to come, as always, because I'm always on the lookout for wigs to buy or sell. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think to my dupe video, whether you'd like to see them, and what sort of, if there's an expensive brand that you really like but you can't afford, maybe drop me a message and I'll see if I can find you a cheaper version, and then maybe do a little comparison video if I have the original. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next video.